Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because, you know, in topics and news like this, a day above the ground is always a blessing. It's a constant reminder that we are lucky to be on this earth. Let's just be completely real. I got some not so great conversations to have with you guys. And you know, we've talked about stuff like this in the past. We've talked about stuff like this ad nauseum. So this is not far from what we talk about on the channel at all. We talk about a lot of these kind of mass tragedies quite a bit. Why? Because it always happens. Happens a lot. And in this particular situation, this one's really sad. Because we're hearing this situation and this tragedy is still developing. More and more information keeps kind of rolling out. And so I'm still gathering as much information as I can revolving around this. And yes, you know, it's all fun and games when we can sit there, poke fun at dumb criminals like the Diddler. But it is important that we talk about the things that are also other things that are also going on around our world. And this one is terrible. This is a situation that people should be able to go and do their thing and live a happy life. Go to an event and go back home alive. That's what it should be like. But unfortunately, we got to talk about this, guys. So please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. If you can, that'd be great. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, like Rumble, Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe here on my main channel if you're watching on YouTube. Because you know what? We talk about everything on this channel. We cover a lot of things. Yes, there's been a lot of Diddy, but Diddy stuff just been flying out the gates. And I'm taking a little bit of a break from Diddy and all the news because I was planning on doing a live this evening on something Diddy-centric. And I decided to talk about this because this matters more. And we need to bring awareness to this as well. So hit that subscribe button. Go over to the secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you subscribe over there. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel. Check out my Patreon and my locals. That'd be greatly appreciated. Of course, check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. And I got a GoFundMe link down below in the description box, raising a little bit of money for a holiday special that I'm putting together right now as we speak. So check it out. Contribute if you can. A little goes a long way. All right, guys. Now, here's the thing. When I was about to go live, there's a reason why there was a little bit of a little delay on me getting started. Yes, I usually let you guys come in and let it cook for a little bit before we get live. But a lot of times I'm still trying to get as much information as I can before I get the show started. And as I was getting this show started, about to get this whole thing going, there's new updates revolving around as far as the amount of people that have been injured, and more details surrounding this actual tragedy. So, of course, the title up above or down below, wherever you're watching this show, is going to be a little bit different. And this is still ongoing. They still have not given us a full breakdown of exactly what happened here. There's still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. And from what I'm gathering, the monster or possible monsters, the triggerman or triggermen, may still be on the loose. But that's one piece that I'm still trying to gather, because, like I said, this was reported about an hour ago about this mass tragedy that just happened in New Orleans. And so let me share this with you guys. This is something that just got updated about an hour ago. So at first it was 8 that were wounded. Now it's 12. 2 people have lost their lives in this St. Roch tragedy that happened in St. Roch in New Orleans during a parade, y'all. And apparently it was 2 different tragedies, 2 different pew-pewings. I hate using these code words, especially when we're talking about something so tragic, because I'm not trying to sound funny right now. I swear I'm not. But of course, to get the word out there, to get the conversation out there, we got to use these doggone code words. But apparently there was 2 separate situations, and it could be from the same person or persons. Yeah, during a second line. So it's crazy, okay? And yes, prayers to every single last one of the people that are, even the ones that aren't injured, that still saw the tragedy, that still got home to be alive. They still are going through something. See, again, and I know I get on my soapbox all the time, but this is what I do. It's just very frustrating that our kids, our loved ones, are the people that we love, the people that we rock with. We always have to worry about if they're going to go to some concert, some parade, even just walking down the street to go to the mall, that they could get hit by some massive tragedy because somebody woke up and chose violence that day. And I know I get on my soapbox and talk about this ad nauseum a lot, but when is this going to stop? When is this stuff going to stop? So before I go even further on my soapbox, let's get into the news. Let's get into some information. And of course, this is still pending. The information is still developing. We're going to hear more, I'm sure, as time goes on. We do have a video from the NOPD, the New Orleans Police Department. They are speaking as well, giving people some updates revolving around this situation. But this is absolutely crazy. And again, we got to do better, y'all. We have to do better as a people. We all got to look at each other like we are family. We got to do better. So 2 people were unalive and 10 were wounded in 2 separate, two situations. All right. Still trying to find out if they're both connected, because why would they still have something that was 45 minutes apart from each other? 2 separate pew-pewings, 45 minutes apart from each other, during an annual second line and parade in the St. Roch area. Hopefully I'm saying that right. St. Roch, or is it St. Roach? I think it's St. Roch. Okay. But in the St. Roch area Sunday afternoon, according to the New Orleans Police Department, Superintendent Kirkpatrick said detectives could not confirm whether these situations, this tragedy, these 2 separate things that were 45 minutes apart from each other, she cannot confirm if they were related. They were different kinds of approaches, she said, of these actual tragedies. The first rounds of gunfire broke out around 3:40 p.m. when unidentified suspects in a vehicle pulled a trigger into a crowd of people participating in the annual 9 times Social Aid and Pleasure Club second line parade outside a City Trends on Almanaster Avenue. 8 people were wounded, police said. None of those victims were unalived, thank God. From ballistics evidence police recovered at the scene, they deduced 2 weapons were fired. So, gunfire erupted again, roughly 45 minutes, literally 45 minutes later, as revelers crossed the Almanaster Avenue Bridge. Sorry, that word is weird to me. But it crossed the Almanaster Avenue Bridge, which was closed to vehicular traffic at the time, unaliving 2 people and wounding another, police said. Police did not immediately release more information. They urged any witnesses or people with video footage to contact Crime Stoppers anonymously at 504 822 1111. Again, 504 822 1111. So if anybody, any of y'alls that are out here watching the show right now that were in that area watching the parade, were a part of the parade, maybe you were filming it, whatever you were doing, cheering your friend on, whatever it may be, and you happen to get a glimpse, capture some of the activity actually going down right before tragedy struck, please contact Crime Stoppers, okay? And you can still do it anonymously, but please do it immediately. Again, 504-822-1111. We need to get these monsters off the street. You remember a couple months ago, there was another mass tragedy outside of a hookah lounge. I'm forgetting the area. I think it was, I could have sworn it was something like Memphis. You see what I'm saying? There's so many of them, you just lose track, right? But a few months ago, there was a mass tragedy as well. And it was right outside of a hookah lounge. Bunch of people got hurt. And what's crazy is people got out of the car. Literally, they jumped out of the car. These gunmen got out of the car, pulled out their pew-pews, and just started firing. And they were only after one particular person, allegedly. There was only one target that they were trying to go for. And yet they injured and unalived. It was Birmingham. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, it was Memphis or something? But yes. Okay. Millionaire. Thank you so much. Okay. Wrong button. Okay. But they were targeting one particular person. And then what happened? What happened? They took out so many people, right? While trying to take out one guy. So in this particular situation, you got 45 minutes, a cluster of shots in one moment where they really hurt a lot of people. Then 45 minutes later, another tragedy happens. Now, the question I have here, though, before we continue, is why didn't people disperse? Why didn't they? I mean, clearly I'm trying to understand the full breakdown of this tragedy because in the very beginning here, it says first rounds broke out around 3:40 p.m. when unidentified suspects, multiple, in a vehicle, pulled triggers into a crowd of people that were participating in this parade, right? None of the victims were hurt. I mean, none of the victims were unalived, but there was 8 people that were wounded at that time. Thank God they're okay. But wouldn't that make you all want to kick rocks as soon as possible? It's time to go, right? Show's over. Bullets are flying. I'm out. I'm chucking up the deuces and I'm gone, right? 45 minutes later, 45 minutes later, gunfire erupts again. 45 minutes later. So this is, and of course, this is, so in other words, they were following the crowd of people. So, because now I'm understanding, they were following the crowd of people as they were trying to leave. So this erupted 45 minutes later as revelers crossed the bridge. So they followed, whoever it was, followed a group of people that were trying to get across the bridge and seek refuge, get away. Okay, the parade is over. People are hurt. There may be some people who are unalive. Time to go. Shots fired. They followed this group of people and opened fire on them too, taking the lives of 2 people and wounding 1 other. Now, is this a targeted attack, or was this somebody going out of their way to just wreak havoc for the sake of wreaking havoc? Let's continue on. I'm just curious. And remember, it's a group of men. Or it's a group of people, I'm sorry. Okay. Pierrette just said something. Let me read that. Pascal, I hate to say it, but it could it be that New Orleans are now used to this happening? Now, again, I think no matter what, doesn't matter if you're in the worst part of town or in the nicest part of town, a mass tragedy, no one can ever get used to a mass tragedy. No one can ever get used to just shots being ringing out or someone dodging bullets every single day. No one gets used to that. Even people in high war areas, okay? No one gets used to that, right? No one gets used to that stuff. It's just tragedy is still tragedy. It's still absolutely crazy. Doesn't matter if it's the most crime-ridden town. It still has an effect on all the people that are living in it, because those people who are just abiding by the rules, good, hardworking taxpayer people, are just trying to live their lives, have their kids grow, and move on, right? So again, this is pretty insane. Period. Okay? Period. But let's continue on. So this particular bridge was closed on both directions at 5:30 as detectives surrounded the area to investigate this tragedy. Several people who were attending the second line when these shots rang out that afternoon trickled down the street, some on horses, as officers worked the scene. So that's crazy. So pew-pewing still continued to crack in the distance as police investigated the large scene. What the hell is going on? So it's just absolute pandemonium in New Orleans? What the hell's going on? So just so you know, the second line kicked off at noon on Higgins Boulevard in the Desire area and was slated to weave towards St. Roch through the afternoon. Now, I'm still wondering, what's going on here? Is this targeted? Is this not? Because you got one cluster of pew-pewing, right? Then there's another cluster of pew-pewing 45 minutes later on a group of people that are just trying to get away from the pandemonium that just happened. And they're probably thinking, okay, we're crossing the bridge. Everything's okay. Those people, I'm sure, were walking for 45 minutes. Let's get away. We're good. We're good. We'll be fine. 45 minutes later, these guys, if they're the same guys, pull up and again. Then, as you just heard in this article, as they are going and the police are doing their due diligence, doing as much as they can to help and keep people safe, you still hear shots being fired in the distance. What's going on? And why this parade? And why that group of people? And was it the same group of people that were aimed at 45 minutes earlier that were also crossing the bridge? And who is this person or these men, monsters that were pulling out their weapons and pulling the trigger on a group of innocent people? Who is this? And why did this happen? Right? Let's take a look at this. We have a quick press conference. They're giving updates on this whole situation. And again, there's no answers to this yet, which is really, really weird. I'm going to keep looking to see if there's new updates, but from what I've seen so far, there's nothing. And these people could still really be at large right now. Tina Powers, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. But this is insane. Let's see what Superintendent Kirkpatrick has to say.
Is one of our absolute largest second lines that we have in the city. It draws thousands of people.
Wow.
And we have had history here with this particular second line. It's a wonderful event. There's no doubt about it. And we want to keep it a wonderful event. But with anticipation, we did have the captain of this district. This is Captain Dupree. She had her entire staff here. All 66 officers were assigned to the 5th district. We also had an additional around 30 extra officers. I can give you the exact numbers, but I just want to keep it in the general. So we know we were around close to 100 officers. So we added officers to this event, knowing that it had a potential for violence. And so the first event occurred at around 3:40, as I said. And what we know, and the facts are still fluid, but apparently a car was involved, a suspect car, and shots were fired into the crowd. We know that, was it 8 that were injured in this particular first shooting? 8 people were struck in this particular shooting. We know 2 weapons were used by the ballistics that are left on the scene. About 45 minutes, and let me back up to tell you, those 8 were either transported to a hospital or walked in through someone taking them. All of those victims are alive at this time. Approximately 45 minutes later, up on the bridge, we did have another outbreak of gunfire, and 2 were struck on the bridge. Because no cars were able to be on that bridge, we know that the shooting occurred within the crowd. There is one.
So they're saying the pew-pewing happened within the crowd. So it's not like somebody jumped in a car, drove up after them, that same crowd, and then started opening fire. They're saying that the pew-pewing happened in the group of people that were walking across the bridge. That is crazy. So this is possible. It is possible that these 2 incidents are completely separate. My God. Oh my God. That's just insane. Do you realize how insane that is? If that is entirely true, if that's correct, I'm rolling that back a little bit, but that's a large pill to swallow. You have a pew-pewing that happens. Everyone's trying to run away, trying to get away from the situation, right? It's people in a car, mother lovers in a car, pulling up, opening fire. Then a group of people trying to get across the bridge so that they can get away from the mayhem and the craziness that they just saw. Lucky that they got out of there by the skin of their teeth. Suddenly, another person pulls out their pew-pew and starts pulling the trigger too. In that group, taking the lives of 2 people and injuring another. What the hell is going on? Only unless, and this is a crazy theory, unless one of the guys that was in the car happened to get out of the car and run with the people in the group. That's the only other thing I can think of, because they just said that the bridge was not allowing vehicles. So it's not the men in the car that were, doing their little drive-by. It's not that. That's crazy, man. What's going on in New Orleans, baby? Let me roll that back so you guys can hear this.
Of gunfire.
What?
And 2 were struck on the bridge. Because no cars were able to be on that bridge, we know that the shooting occurred within the crowd.
So again, let me repeat that one more time for all y'all in the nosebleed seats. Just so you know, make that abundantly clear. Both incidents could absolutely be separate. I'm sorry, but this is indeed it is. Oh my word. How does that even happen? Let's continue.
There is one confirmed death, and the other is an extreme critical condition, as I understand, but is being transported to one of our area hospitals. That's the information that we have right now. I do have, as you know, the staff here. If you have a question that I can't answer, I will ask one of our members here to address it.
Hold on, I'm going to pause that really quick so we could just take a minute to just to let that soak in. And somebody also said something that made me think this too. Groovy Nikki, thank you so much for the comment. I appreciate it. Whoops, I'm on the wrong button today. I don't know why. It's Sunday night. Your boy's tired. But let me explain something here. All right, she's got a point here. It's quite groovy, baby. But she's got a good point here. It could be connected. The guys who pulled up tried to did the drive-by, injuring many, many people, by the way, wounding many, many people. They could be affiliated with other people that are in the group that are at the parade too. So if somebody says out loud who they represent or what gang they're with or whatever like that, it could cause somebody to pull out their pew-pew and start blasting. It could. So it could very well be somebody else. It could be a connection between these. It could be gang affiliated, and maybe some guys in that group were representing one side, and then there's another side in the group as well. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know what the gangs are, their names are down there. But imagine if they're saying, one guy saying, who screams out, yeah, I represent blah, whatever it may be. That was definitely such and such. We're gonna get these mother love, whatever it may be. And somebody else hears that, and they're with the group, with that gang that drove by, that did the drive-by. That can erupt in a whole firefight right there too. So that could be it, but then it may not be. There's no answers to this, right? But that's crazy. Two different tragedies, mass tragedies, basically, within 45 minutes of each other at the same doggone event. And then on top of that, let's not forget, according to that article, in the distance, as police pulled up, NOPD doing that thing, you could still hear gunfire erupting in the distance. That's what they were saying. So this could be some crazy, this could be gang affiliated, or it could be something completely different. But this is very weird and shocking to say the least. Man, these are the moments when we need to start making these movies again. Like the Menace to Societies and the boys in the hood, and you know what I'm saying, where they talk about like, put the guns down, man, use your mind. You know what I'm saying? Message. Where's all that stuff? We don't have that anymore, man. It's all gone. What's going on, man? Damn. Let's continue.
No recovery of suspect weapons at this time. We are aware of the ballistics, and we will withhold that information right now.
Just to make sure, the total number of victims, and is there any information as far as a suspect, a vehicle, or anything we can share to the public to help y'all solve this crime?
Well, what I can confirm, a total of 9 casualties, and by the use of that word, we mean people who were injured and the one person who has lost his life. So that is a total of 9. We do have a vehicle of interest to us right now. I will leave it up to and probably the detective lieutenant as to whether or not to release that. We will get it released because we want our community to help us. We're sure someone probably has video, film, something, and we would like them to call. If they aren't comfortable calling us, please call Crime Stoppers. And I actually know the number here, but I wanted to confirm it. But that number for Crime Stoppers is 822 1111. So 822 1111. With this many people out here, we do know that someone probably has uh, some more information that we could use. We will release that video of interest to us when they're ready to release it, okay? Because we do want that information out in the community to help us.
Then damn.
No,
Let me see.
no motives, nothing like that. We do have, and everyone knows that we have a intelligence unit comprised of officers. We had 4 of them embedded, 3 embedded in the crowd, and we had 1 of those intelligent team members up in the real-time crime center. And we do, if they had had intelligence prior or during the event, we would have known, or at least it would have been shared with us.
So do we believe that these 2 different locations are related?
You know, we can't say that because they were 45 minutes apart and different kind of approach of how the shooting was. So we don't know, could be, but right now don't know that. Yeah.
Can you share the age and gender of the victims?
I don't have that
Missy, once we get
actually.
that
Yeah, we'll
information
get
a little
that
bit
to
later, we'll release
you.
it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
I got to be honest. This is to think that this to think to be somebody who's actually reporting this. Okay, even to be to report, to be the reporter of this, or to be a chief of police, superintendent, a cop, whatever it may be. Just think of how scary this must be for any person that was even in that area. It's terrifying to think that this could ever really happen. And the fact that they're kind of scratching their heads right now, not knowing the connection between these things is absolutely terrifying. And yes, I agree, Miss L. So sad. Because again, we live in a time where everyone wants to pull the trigger first and ask questions later. Actually, not even ask questions later. They just pull the trigger and they don't give two dams. It's terrifying and sad that we deal with that still right now, that we deal with that even to this day as a country, as a human race. A tragedy happens and they still pull the trigger later on, thinking that that's the greatest time to start pulling the trigger. It doesn't make any sense, guys. It doesn't. But let me get this. Jelly Cats, thank you so much for the super chat. It's a war zone there. Yeah, I've heard, and in fact, we're gonna take a look at this video here too, and it's damn. Now this is after the parade, or this is after everybody like took off. But here's some video from the actual, a short video, because they haven't released any video yet of the situation. Like they're holding on to that video. I'm hoping that they put that stuff out here so that people can start identifying these monsters, right? Identify the assailants. But right now, they got bupkis out here. This is the only video that they have. Okay, take a look. And of course, I got to be careful with this audio stuff because they got music blasting still. But you can see the whole place is, they were just getting done with this particular event. Okay. And if I'm correct, a second line is, it's basically like it's a parade with horns, music, there's dancing, there's all that kind of stuff, but it's for but it can be used for funerals or weddings or anything of that sort, these second lines. So it's part of a parade, and they were having this, and they do this every year. So I don't know why. I don't know why this happened. I don't know why this happened. And we still don't know we still don't know who those people were, which is even more terrifying. Nurse for God, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the coverage. Of course, it's an honor to do what I do. Okay, and I want you guys to know that we cover a lot of things on this show. We don't just cover Diddy. Diddy's been a hot topic as of late, but we do talk about everything that's going on in the world, and this is what's going on right now. And we still don't know where these assailants are. Even the people that were going and crossing the bridge, they don't know where they are. That's scary. That's scary. Now, again, let me check something here, because I want to see if there's any more updates, because right now there really isn't much. They haven't really said anything at all. Let me just check something here. Yeah, I mean, even these other channels, I mean, the local news, they haven't really said much on local news at all, guys, which is really, really frustrating, because they don't have anything right now. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. But you saw that, and I mean, that's after the event. Of course, I'm sure everybody was stopping what they were doing and running, ducking for cover, right? So of course the streets are going to look like that, unless, I don't know, maybe the streets do look like that in general. I would hope not. I really would hope not. But anything is possible. WWL News has it. Let me see, because I was just looking at WWL News, and they had nothing. But let me see. Let me see what it do. Hold on. Let me see what they say on WWL News. So let me show you guys what I'm seeing here. Oops, wrong thing. Let's take a look at this. Come on. So it says, yeah, oh, no need for the pop-ups. Says NOPD, 10 injured, 2 unalivings. Well, let's see if there's anything here. Come on now.
Louisiana
There we go.
Begins with breaking news.
Well, good evening, and thanks so much for watching. I'm Whitney Miller. In the last half hour, police told us there is at least 8 people have been shot in St. Roch. At least 1 person has been killed. It happened during the 9-time Social Aid and Pleasure Club second line. The shots began a little before 4 o'clock. So far, all the NOPD has said is that 8 victims have been identified, and they're investigating a homicide. They haven't said how many people were killed, but we are seeing reports that it was more than 1 person. We have a crew heading out to that intersection right now to get that information confirmed, and we'll have much more in our 10 p.m. show.
So they don't have much right now. But it says, okay, they're investigating the 2 situations that left 2 people unalived and 10 people injured. Shots were fired around 3:30. So then when officers arrived, they found 8 people with GSWs. NOPD says all 8 victims were taken into the hospital by EMS. According to the investigators, ballistics shows that 2 monsters, 2 different ones, were at the first scene. Apparently they were pulling up in the car and then they opened fire on people. That's literally what they said in the previous report, the other article that we read. About 45 minutes later, 2 other people were hit at the intersection of Almanaster and Florida Avenues. Excuse me. Police say one of the victims unalived, okay, or lost their life at the scene, and the other was taken to the hospital. The NOPD says a 3rd victim involved in the incident was taken to the hospital via private transportation and is listed in stable condition. Police can't say if this pew-pewing, if these 2 pew-pewings were related at this time. The second line was shut down as police began investigating the incidents. No other information is available at this time. It's still a developing story. Updates will be provided as more information becomes available. So, I mean, still, that's what's so. That's that, and of course, the presser that I just showed you guys is literally the only thing that they have out right now, which is, long story short, frustrating as hell. I think we can all agree on that. But again, we don't know what's going on here and what happened, and of course, no arrests have been made. None. Jazzy's Creole Food. What's up? Thank you so much for the comment. I live in the East. That's 5 miles away from me. And I just told my kids why I never went to a second line before, because I knew people who were aimed at. One back on Mother's Day about 17 years ago. Yeah, I mean, you even heard the superintendent themselves, Kirkpatrick, say, you know, these events are kind of known to be a little bit violent, that they're known to have incidents happen there. So yeah, it's not great, but it's wild to have 2 of those tragedies happen within 45 minutes of each other at the same doggone event. That's insane. That's insane, y'all. That is insane. That's insane. Hamburger, man. Hamburger indeed. But of course, you know, we don't know everything as of yet. Law enforcement is doing their due diligence. I've been looking around to see if there's been any breaking news revolving around this, and so far, they haven't said anything. You know, even just reading from raw alerts about an hour ago, law enforcement are on the scene of a mass tragedy during a parade event. At this time, law enforcement and emergency crews are currently on the scene of a mass tragedy at a second line parade in New Orleans, Louisiana. Officials report that at least 8 people have been hit. It is unclear at this time whether the suspected monster or monsters has been apprehended or remains at large. They didn't even say they have not arrested anybody, and that is for sure confirmed. You didn't hear anything from law enforcement saying, yeah, we got the guy. They don't have anything. They need video. They need footage so that they can put it out there and say, do you know these guys? Do you know these people? Because they don't have anything. And that is absolutely tragic. That's terrible. Then also, isn't the Super Bowl supposed to be in New Orleans this year? I don't know if that's going to be a good thing. Them streets better get cleaned up. Them streets better be on their P's and Q's, because some danger can happen, yo. Some serious danger can happen. And I love New Orleans, man. New Orleans is a great time. New Orleans is beautiful. This is crazy. But if you notice, there's been a lot of crime everywhere. Everywhere. Things have just gotten insane. There's got to be something to stop and slow this type of terror down. Because again, I was hoping that, because I hadn't talked about any mass tragedies in a while and I'm like, wow, that's kind of a nice breather. It's a nice, opportunity to take a breath. And then all of a sudden I open up my phone and this is all up in my face. We need to be better to ourselves and better to our others, period. I can't believe that this even is a true story. But I feel like whenever it comes to these kind of mass tragedies, I say this all the time. Something's got to get better. Something's got to change. And we need to swiftly get these monsters to justice. They need to be detained. They need to be arrested as soon as possible. But when we get more information, of course, we will talk about it. But right now, this is all we have right now. It's somebody has a video. Somebody has a video of this. And hopefully it'll come out very, very soon. And when it does, we will be talking about it, guys. I guarantee you. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate you guys. There's a lot that we need to talk about. There's a lot of things going on in the world. We will be talking about those things very, very soon. But please be safe out there, guys. We're living in some crazy times. Too many angry people. Too many angry people just waking up and choosing violence. And I'm sick of it. Something's got to change very, very soon. This energy, people are getting way too used to it, and I don't like that. This kind of energy, I don't like it. But I'm praying for the victims, I'm praying for the families, and I'm praying that these assailants are arrested as soon as possible. Anyway, guys, please do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Please share the feed. Let people know about this because people need to know, especially those in the New Orleans area that were actually at this event. Please spread the word because they may have video that could bring these assailants to justice very, very fast. So share if you can. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms. Please and thank you. I'm really praying for our country, y'all. I really am. We're getting too violent out here. Getting too violent. But hit that like button down below. Hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out that join button down below. Check out my Patreon, my locals, and check out my merch page, please and thank you. And of course, I do have that GoFundMe. Go check that GoFundMe out as well. Okay, guys? Anyway, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Anyway, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.